Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, I'm going to look at this. This is Star Trek First Contact from 1996. And I've just watched this in this brilliant 4K, wonderful edition. It really is. I've not actually, to be honest, I've not seen this film for a long time. And, on this viewing now, I think this film has certainly gone up in my estimation. I'm really impressed by this film. I'm surprised in some ways. I know it's always been considered the best of the four Next Generation films, but honestly, I'm just so impressed by it. It's going to have a hard job, I know, competing with what I consider the greatest Star Trek film, which is of course the first motion picture one. But this is such an enjoyable film, and it just provides everything that you want from a good Star Trek film. And I know with The Wrath of Khan, there's often this kind of comparison in terms of which is the best of each of the films. But yeah, I think it certainly gives Wrath of the Khan a good run. Definitely. Anyhow, let me just go into some bits behind it. Yeah. It's 111 minutes long. It's not too long at all, and it just sails by. Just watched this and it just felt fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And it's on Rotten Tomatoes 92%. So obviously, it following on from the critical acclaim it got at the time, then it continues. People have assessed this and still rate it very highly. Not that I take much notice always of Rotten Tomatoes, but it's just interesting. And it's interesting because its budget was $45 million and it made $146 million. So I think that in a way, that made sure that there would be another film after this, which was, of course, Insurrection, which many people perhaps consider a bit of a disappointment compared with this one. And I can see that. Now, its screenplay was by Brandon Braga and Ronald D. Moore. And the fact that it's got a time-traveling element in it, I think, very much is Brandon Braga's influence on that. They wanted to do and of course, time travel. You know me, I'm always in time travel, yes. And therefore that just, again, attracts me even more to this. It's directed, of course, by Jonathan Frakes. I think they felt in the end that he was the choice to be the director because he understood perhaps the Next Generation more than anything. And I think Jonathan Frakes, certainly nowadays, even though with Picard we see him acting, he's very much the director. And he's a good director as well, and he's still very much involved in Star Trek. He seems to have an understanding of it, which is really good. So there's that aspect. The cast, of course, was all the usual suspects. We've got Picard, played by Patrick Stewart, Riker, of course, Jonathan Frakes, and Data, Brent Spiner, Geordi, Levi Burton, Worf, Michael Dorn, Troy, Marina Sirtis, and of course, the wonderful Dr. Crusher, Kate McFadden. They're all there. Now, I've been thinking about this. I always had more of the impression, perhaps wrongly, that they weren't hardly in the film. And I suppose you could say they're not the stars of the film as the rest of the cast. But they do have reasonably good roles in the film, which is quite nice to see. I think Dr. Crusher is in the film quite a bit. Maria Sirtis is in it as Troy. And also, I know people talk about the drunk scene in the bar as embarrassing. I don't know. I didn't find it as... I think the memory cheats. I've just seen it. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's all right. Just adds a slight comedy element in it. I know a lot of people, and including me, were perhaps thinking, it was a bit embarrassing, but actually it's not embarrassing. I looked at it and thought, it's quite good, actually. I quite enjoyed it. So that surprised me. That's just on watching this now. Anyhow, the rest of the cast is important. We've got James Cromwell playing Zefram Cochrane, who, of course, we know is the important part of First Contact with the warp drive development, and this. So he's considered the heroic great figure in history, and I love how the way that they're showing that he wasn't like that at all. It's wonderful seeing him. What a performance this is. Then we've got a part I really liked was Alfre Woodward playing Lily. She's great. I really liked her, and you could almost. And what I think was interesting, there was a chemistry actually between her and Picard. I thought that was really nice. I really liked that bit of the film. I'd like to have seen more of her. You really would. She was great. As an actress, I've noticed she's got quite a really good career as well. She's appeared in all sorts of films and that. No, I noticed that she was in Captain America and Civil War, for instance, 2016. I didn't know that. I don't remember it, but there we are. She was in that. Then we've got South African actress Alice Krieg playing the Borg Queen, and she made that certainly her own. Again, she's brilliant in that. Again, we don't maybe get enough of her. She's a really interesting character, and the scenes with Data are fantastic. I really thought it worked so well. She was in, I'm just looking, she was in Thor, The Dark World, 2013. She was, believe it or not, in the 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'll just throw that in. And she's been, of course, in Star Trek Lower Decks. 2021, Star Trek Lower Decks. So there's still the Star Trek connection there. Hey, Bayek. Hey, right. The premise. What is the premise of this film? I mean, basically, it is that Picard and the Enterprise and the crew have to travel back in time to save, well, what is going to happen to the Earth, because the Borg have managed, after this battle, to go back in time and change history by taking over and assimilating the Earth, and effectively trying to prevent first contact, which will change everything. The first contact is so vital and important. So that's what they do. They go back in time, and we meet, say, Zefram Cochrane, how he really is. The Earth is now a society in sort of, well, recovering from the Third World War, basically. Yes, the Third World War's happened, and this is an important part in the Earth's history. The dark part has now perhaps come to an end, we hope, with First Contact. And of course, that's true. That's what happens. It changes everything for the Earth. Otherwise, it would remain as it is as a society. It's been devastated, and there's these groups surviving, and that's it. That's the so that is how the story begins. That premise, and the film is about how they prevent this, and it's a very exciting film. It is. You sit there, you're totally engrossed in it. It doesn't slow down at all. It just is relentless, really. There are little bits here and there of that, but what I think makes this film stand out is that we get the character studies still in there. We get Picard still this revenge-filled figure, really. He's still recovering from that assimilation by the Borg, and that is an important part. Apparently, this is interesting, that it's mentioned that the book Moby Dick by Melville is an inspiration for this, about what happens. And of course, in the end, he realizes, through the help, really, of Lily, about revenge and that. It's quite interesting. I really like that. And apparently this is referenced. Here we have another link to The Wrath of Khan, the 1982 film, which everybody compares this with, in terms of being one of the best Star Trek films. That's an interesting point. It really is. The film, it's so well done. It's so well put together. And the effects, I was watching here in the 4K and seeing all the battles and the design of the whole sets and the ships and the special effects. They're great. If you're looking for that kind of Hollywood blockbuster, this is it. It's got it all there, and it's a great ride. I mean, I love always sort of looking more at these sort of independent, smaller films, but when you get a film like this, it's where it's still got the soul in there, and all these effects don't destroy the film, whereas often in some of the more recent time films that we see over years, it's all about the special effects and less about the soul of the film, and this has it all. And even though this is quite a relentless film, you just get on board and totally enjoy it, and like I did. The Borg are a fantastic creation, probably Star Trek's greatest creation of an alien race. They represent so much about that fear of assimilation, meaning that we're losing our own identities, our own sense of freedom. Freedom being such an important motivation in terms of humans, their freedom. And also, I think that the Borg are like the Daleks. I've got to bring Doctor Who references in. They're great creations. I mean, the Daleks are such a fantastic creation. And the Borg are just that. Like Daleks have exterminate, and all that. With the Borg, we have got, of course, resistance is futile. Yep, Bayek. Yeah, we've got resistance is futile. So, yeah, no, I mean, really, it's great. I mean, it's the ultimate, relentless alien, and how are you going to stop it? It's fantastic. And I think the film brings out lots of other aspects. Again, that is important because, again, it shows you that characters are really coming to the fore, even within the action. You know, it's about friendship. It's about loyalty. It's about respect. All these things, and freedom. You know, what price freedom? What? There are all these kind of issues are all in here in a film, which is just a piece of entertainment, so to say. But it is an entertaining film. But we've got such a wonderful performances that you tend to think it elevates the film even higher. I mean, I'm not into all this sort of technical stuff and everything about that in the film, and I'm sure it's all really great in that. But for me, the film just, I see it on this level of characterizations and how you love these characters. That's the thing. If you start to love the characters that you're watching, you've got, I think it never quite, Star Trek, it never quite captured this again in the films, apart from in the reboots. I think the reboots have been able to get that characterization again. The A.J. Abrams reboots, they've certainly brought a lot of this back, because I think the important thing to say about The Next Generation, I'm obviously a massive fan of the classic series. And The Next Generation, I'm a massive fan of that, really. They're my favourites of Star Trek. And The Next Generation is the important part of Star Trek. Without The Next Generation, as I say, without the original series, Star Trek would just not have progressed the way it has done. We wouldn't have had Voyager. We wouldn't have had Deep Space Nine. We wouldn't have had Enterprise without these. These are the real foundations of Star Trek and what it's about. Though Deep Space Nine, which was a brilliant series, it still had to have the core of its values, even though it was a more darker series and took us into different areas. That all comes from this, The Next Generation, as well as the classic series, because the classic series is much about family as well, the relationships between all the crew members, and we add that, and that's what it's about. Anyhow, I'm going on too much here, Bayek. All I can say is it's a damn good film. It's just such a great film. So just a few words about the 4K here. I've got this nice slip. You see, you've got a nice slip here. And there's the back of the slip. And then we've got the same cover. It's a great, I absolutely love that. That's a great cover. And then we've got a set with all special features on. Inside, it's Paramount, so you've got the black disc, which is the 4K, and then you've got the Blu-ray on there. Do you know, it looks absolutely fantastic. They've done a great job on this transfer, and the sound was just amazing. You know, I can't highly recommend this enough. If you're going to choose to get these releases of The Next Generation, I would definitely recommend getting you this one. Get this one. It's so good. Yeah. I'm surprised myself. I'm surprised because it was better than I thought it was going to be. And I haven't seen it for, well, I would say a few years I've not seen this. So it was really refreshing to see it, and I loved it, and it's highly recommended. So that's it, really. If you've enjoyed these videos I produce, please subscribe, and then we'll let you know when I produce them. If you really like it, please give it a like. It helps with algorithms, and other people might appreciate this. And, you know, it all costs notes. And we should nowadays, hey, Bayek, that's right, grand, I'll tell thee. It costs no. So, well, all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.